C.J. Stroud listed his top 5 quarterbacks. Honestly, a lot like me. Loves a good quarterback win. Here's his list. Take a listen. Okay, shout out to $1 Million Worth of Game. Good podcast. Brew, do you agree that he's already a top 5 QB? And do you like the list?
Well, I like that he put himself in there. Most guys will be like, excluding me, but I like his confidence like that. The list, I think, is lacking. I think you got to have Josh Allen in there. And Hurts didn't have a great year last year, so I would definitely have Josh Allen.
Whatever happened to the white quarterback in America, man? It's just
they not on CJ's list, but I would put, Josh Allen would be the guy I put in there. He had 44 touchdowns last year, 15 of them rushing. But I think that right now there are 2 guys, other than Mahomes, that are definitively top 5. Lamar, because he got 2 MVPs, and Josh Allen. I think they're in it. Now, Burrow, I would, but with the injuries, I'm really interested to see how he plays this year. And then I think CJ. I love CJ. I liked him even in college. But I want to see another year. Like I do. Now, sure. I don't expect him not to have a great year, but I want to see it. Like I don't just fall in love with somebody off 1 year. All right, so I want to see him do it again. And I think he'll battle, Justin Herbert at one time, I feel like was kind of viewed as a top 5 guy. Jalen Hurts going into last year was viewed as top 5. So after these 3 that I'm saying, Allen, Lamar, and obviously Mahomes, it's kind of a group that fights for those other spots.
So a couple things. One is I think Justin Herbert is viewed as a top 5 guy still in a lot of circles. I know we don't talk about it on this show as that, but I think a lot of people when they're listing their 5 best quarterbacks, and I think that it is far from universal that Lamar is in the top 3. I think that
I'm just going like accolade.
I understand. I get that, and I'm not. I think that there is right now quarterback unanimity on the following 2 things. Mahomes is 1, and Allen is top 5. I think everything, and maybe close to unanimity that Allen's top 3. I think everything else, it really is.
Lamar's top 5?
I think that if you ask somebody who the 5 best quarterbacks in the league are, I think you are going to have a sample of people that say, well, Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, CJ, and then that 5th guy, I think some people, again, might say Herbert. The people who have Herbert, I don't think have Lamar in there. I think there's a lot of Jordan Love, it's similar to CJ Stroud love. I know some people still have Aaron Rodgers in the top 5.
Jets fans.
And so, not just Jets fans, also former Packers receivers. There's a lot of people. And so.
I agree with you. I think Lamar's should be in there, but I agree stylistically some people don't like it.
And so, do I agree that he's top 5? Well, let's just refer back to Mahomes Mountain.
Oh.
And the latest edition of it.
When was it?
This was post-draft.
Oh, okay.
This is post-draft. Oh, I forgot Stafford. Stafford's another guy that some people would have in their top 5. They just would. I'm shocked. Brew, we're 7 minutes into it, didn't even mention his top 5 candidate, his beloved Brock Purdy, but that's.
Oh no, he'll be in that group fighting. He's in that group.
But I think
where is he, by the way?
Brock Purdy, he didn't make this. He's a robe.
But yet the Prince.
He didn't. Okay, guys, we're just trying to have a different conversation. Everything doesn't have to be about the Prince on this show. You guys.
It was in overtime in the Super Bowl. He left the field with the lead in the Super Bowl. Prince at home.
Okay, guys.
Watching like the rest of us.
Okay, guys. Zoom in further to take the Prince off. If we can do that in real
What
time.
do you want? You're the one that did this graphic.
Because that's just what the.
Caleb.
There we go. Thank you. There. Now you guys can zip it.
I can't even see the guys.
Good.
1, 2, 3, 4,
zip
5.
it.
So you got.
I think Stroud's in the top
6.
5. I don't need to see more. If I needed to see more, I saw it in his podcast this year. I mean
What does that mean?
No, you like me. You like the confidence.
No. I liked when he and Micah did the draft of players, and he's like, and he was basically breaking down how his offense, the play they would run. I was like, everything he's done this offseason exudes confidence, leader, super sharp. Yeah. He checked to me. So, yeah, I already think so if I were making my top 5, he's on there. He's on there. Mahomes obviously on there. Allen's on there. Burrow's on there. And then that 5th spot, I don't know.
Purdy and Lamar.
I don't. Okay, again, you forgot about Purdy. I reminded you
about
of Purdy.
You forgot about
I did
Purdy.
not.
You forgot
He's
about
in
Purdy.
the group.
Well, then why wasn't
that's
he
going to be
mentioned?
fighting for those last couple spots?
And so, yeah, I think that I'd rather have Stroud. If you ask me who I'd rather have next year, Stroud or Lamar, I'd rather have Stroud.
We have 30 seconds left. Hubs is yelling at me, post-honeymoon, screaming at me.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about Dak sitting there at number 4.
Yeah, that was a little off.
Yeah, well, Dak.
Is that just like Texas love or what?
He said he based it on last year, so maybe. Although
Well, if you
Purdy,
based it on last year, then Hurts wouldn't be on there.
well, that.
The-
but he did
Supernatural
say
funk.
he emphasized this is based on last year. Like he made a point of that.
Oh, because when they asked him about why Burrow's not on there, and so
Yeah.
Well, with Jared Goff, is he any good?
I mean, he's not top 5. He's not.
Was
top
it based
5.
on last year?
Ask him. I mean,
I-
you're
okay,
trying to
he
ask
said
him or
yes.
me?
Josh, call
Are
C.J.
you trying to
Stroud.
ask him or me?
Well, you got Dak in there. He goes in there and lays an egg in a playoff game. Then put
Yell
Jordan Love
at
on
CJ.
there.
I didn't have him in my top 5. You want to yell at me about Trevor?
What's he on there? He didn't do anything. Went from 8-3 to missing the playoffs. Prime Performance, sponsored by USAA, committed to the military community and their family members. Jeremy Fowler reporting with a smile that the Cowboys are, quote, all in on re-signing Dak Prescott. Eventually, they just haven't shown it yet, end quote. Brew, your reaction.
Well, like I've said, and I assume maybe if Jeremy got this from the Cowboys or a source within the organization, I don't think they know what all in means. Because it doesn't look like they're all in on Dak Prescott. Now, is it possible that they're willing, more than willing, to pay him $52, $53 million a year? All right, and Dak is like, nah, I want to be paid 60, or I want to be paid the highest paid player in the league, and that's the problem. That's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But if you know Dak is your guy, waiting only is going to cost you more money. All right, and if he really has a great year, which you hope if you're the Cowboys, it really could cost you a lot more money. Now, if you're not sure, if you're thinking, we might move on from him, then this is fine. But if you think he's the guy, or this goes for any player, if you know he's the guy, you should sign them sooner rather than later, because it's only going to cost you more. And Nick, in this case, had they signed him already, or if they signed him before the season, it would give you more money for CD, for Micah, and other players.
Well, so to me, it's less about the more money for CD and Micah, because I think they're going to get those deals done, and it's more about you could have been more active in improving your team. I do not believe the Cowboys here, because if they were going to do it, they'd have done it. Because the benefit of opening up cap space now is minimal.
Right.
It's like, oh, now we can finally sign Stephon Gilmore. Like and I only mention him because he's one of the.
Still out there.
He's still out there. There's not a lot of guys out there. Like Dak's cap hit right now is incredibly onerous, and the only way you would carry that up to this point in the offseason, I think, is if you intend to carry it. Because I think the Cowboys are truly in a, let's see how this year goes.
Yeah,
Because to me, it's less brew about 53 versus 56 million or 56 versus 58, and more about length of contract and percent guaranteed. Because Dak, just like Kirk Cousins played the franchise tag game and won, in my opinion, Dak Prescott has played the franchise tag game and won. And that next deal is going to be close to fully guaranteed, or at least fully guaranteed for the first 3 years at record-breaking numbers. And if that's the standard he is going to demand, because that's what the leverage allows, then I think the Cowboys are not willing to do it. If they were, they would have already. And that's why, Wildes, you shouted it out in the hallway last week. You were like, hey, did you guys see this? And it was the Mike McCarthy quote on Trey Lance.
Oh, yeah.
That he's like mastered the playbook. I forget the exact quote. I apologize. I tune you out most of the time when not on the air. I do think Trey becomes a really fascinating preseason guy, because I think that the Cowboys are searching for options and any leverage they might have moving forward. And if Trey comes out in the preseason and is bad, then, you know what I mean, whatever little bit they'd have. But if a guy who hasn't played football seemingly since high school, you know what I mean, comes out and looks good, then it shifts the leverage a bit. Because I don't think the Cowboys are going to sign Dak before the year.
When are you going to let this attachment you have to Trey Lance?
I knew you were going to say that.
Because it's true.
No, that's the thing. I picked the Niners to make the Super Bowl because I believed they could make the Super Bowl with literally anyone at quarterback. And then a year later, I was proven right. And somehow you think that means I love Trey Lance. Well, who knows? Maybe Trey would have been too. Maybe Trey would have been too if he didn't get his leg broken.
Right,
he got his leg broken. Give me a break.
So you know what? We'll rock with Sam Darnold instead. Coming up next, we're talking about the finals and how Kyrie will perform in Boston next.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.